but this body felt just like mine. I got worried, I looked over to the left, a reflection of myself. That's why I couldn't catch my breath. Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my, oops, there goes my skirt dropping to my feet. Oh my, ooh, some kind of touch caressing my legs. Oh my, ooh, I'm turning red. Who could this be? I looked over to the left.
I was looking so good, I couldn't reject myself.
I looked over to the left.
I was feeling so good, I had to touch myself.
I looked over to the left.
I was eyeing my thighs, but a peak came
I
round.
looked over to the left.
Coming out of my shirt, and then my skirt came down.
Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my, oops, there goes my skirt dropping to my feet. Oh my, ooh, some kind of touch caressing my legs. Oh my, ooh, I'm turning red. Who could this be? Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my, oops, there goes my skirt dropping to my feet. Oh my, ooh, some kind of touch caressing my legs. Oh my, ooh, I'm turning red. Who could this be?
All right, how we doing tonight, folks? How we all doing? Okay. So, stream quality seems okay. We already have one download. That's good. Good to see. All right. Just one download already. Cool. Oh, all right. Hi, Davis. Oh, okay. So, I guess there's E3 stuff going. Is it going on now? I don't even know if it's going on at this point. I heard it was gonna start right around now or something. I know some trailers are dropping for games. They just dropped a trailer for Mario plus Rabbids 2, of all fucking things. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll watch that trailer. I gotta say, the first Mario Rabbids is. I mean, it's better than it has any right to be. That's for fucking sure. I can't say I was ever a fan of the Rabbids. I wasn't even a fan of Rayman. I never fucking heard of Rayman back in the day. I have no fucking affection for Rayman. Um, like it looks good. I mean, like graphically, from what I've seen. You know, it's a 2D side scroller on a fucking PlayStation. Of course, it's gonna look good. Yeah, 32 bits can make a really nice looking 2D side scroller. I don't know, man. I just never had any interest in giving it a shot. Back when I first got my 3DS, I kept hearing like, "Oh, you gotta Rayman. Rayman's so fucking awesome. You gotta try Rayman." And I didn't know anything about it, so I saw the Game Boy Color version in the fucking eShop and bought it because I didn't even know. I'm literally, I was like, "Is this?" This is it. But no, that's obviously not the one everyone was telling me. I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. I don't know what everybody's talking about. I don't know. I mean, sometimes franchises start on like Shantae started on the fucking Game Boy Color of all things. So I didn't know. I just saw Raymond was like, oh, everyone tells me I should play this fucking game. I got like a level into Rayman on the Game Boy Color and never went back to it. It's still on my 3DS. It was an eShop purchase, so it'll be on there for as long as that fucking 3DS is functional, I guess. But I wasn't a fan. I assume Rayman on the PlayStation 1 is better. I assume certainly got to be better graphically. But yes, this show's Rayman. Like I'm not feeling it, guys. There's some surprisingly good games on the Game Boy Color. Way Forward, Shantae, obviously. In fact, Way Forward did a bunch of like license games for really shitty who gives a fuck licenses that are way better than they have any right to be. Way Forward did a fucking Sabrina the Teenage Witch game that plays like a Metroidvania. Like Way Forward was one of those companies back in the day that just hand them the shittiest license, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna do everything we can for it." So I gotta say, Rayman on the Game Boy Color, I'm not really feeling it. That said, though, Mario Rabbids was pretty good. Um, it's actually the first game I got on the Switch. Just because that year my dad's like, I don't know what to get you for Christmas. I'm like, well, I've been planning on getting myself a Switch. You can get that if you want for me. All right, fine. Are you gonna need a game for it? I'm like, all right. So Boomer, he doesn't know shit from Shinola when it comes to games. So I just write down a list of like games I would like on it, and I just threw Mario Rabbids on there. It's like one of like 7 games or something that were on it. I'm like, just give me one of these. That's all you have to do. And literally all the rest on the list were sold out except Mario Rabbids. So that's the one I got for Christmas that year. But it turned out it was pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily rush out and buy the sequel, but, might get it at some point. I got like 300 store credit at the Retro Game Store now, so might as well.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Duke of Tumwater donated $30. I do need the money right now, so I appreciate that. But I probably don't appreciate what the fuck you're showing me. Lies of the Enlightenment 6, Liberty. Oh God, that's gonna light me to fuck off. All right, well you paid, so we're gonna watch it. You paid me $30. I can't really turn that down. Lord knows I need the money right now. It's fucking. Basically, when I'm off here, I gotta fucking send my car payment for the month in. I do it over the phone. I've tried setting up a fucking auto pay on it. For some reason, just always is fucked up. I don't know why. The auto pay just never works. Maybe I'm retarded and I'm doing it wrong. Maybe the bank's retarded. Maybe it's maybe it's a combination of two. But every month, I gotta fucking call and say, yes, take the money. It's okay. But that's gonna fucking wipe me out this week. I ain't getting no work this week at the part-time job I was doing, so. So says, I feel like these are low-key advertisements for Endeavor. I think we watched some of that at one point. This is some spurgy trad, isn't it? I assume. Lies of the Enlightenment, yes. God, I'm so sick of hearing trads going about the Enlightenment. Dude, you enlighten yourself as to what a pussy feels like. Why don't you enlighten yourself as to what a fucking hard day's work feels like? So sick of these fucking trads. Because it's always a little 19-year-old fucking know-it-all that's never kissed a girl, never worked a day in his fucking life. Fuck these people. This is a problem with Christendom as a whole, by the way. This is also a problem that goes fucking Protestant circles. You want to know one of the reasons so many of these conservative churches, and I'm not even like the fucking liberal Methodist, church that has a dyke pastor, and and celebrates Ramadan. We're not even fucking throw that one out. We're not even talking about that one. That one's beyond fucking redemption. But the quote unquote conservative churches, you know a big fucking problem with them? There ain't no men running them. Oh, there's fucking males. It's usually entirely male, but there's no fucking men. Okay? Because you know who the fucking pastor is? 9 times out of 10, it's some fucking weasel who, he got all A's in school. Not because he was smart, but because he always did what teacher told him. He always did the extra homework. He was the hall monitor. He was the desk fairy. All right? And then, he always did what mommy told him, always did what teacher told him. Then he went to seminary. It never worked a fucking day in his life. Never doesn't have any interesting stories to tell, as it were. Never lived. All right? And this guy wants to stand up behind a pulpit and tell you all the fucking mysteries of the universe and the human condition? Fuck you. Like, okay. Anyways, E3. I wanted to talk about E3 a little bit before I get too set off into that. So, I watched Razor Fist video on E3 today, I think it was, and he brought up an interesting point. Oh, you didn't hear the desk fairy? All right, well, we'll tell the desk fairy story in a minute, okay? Because it's fucked up. I keep forgetting some people are new. Anyways, E3. This year is Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary. Now, Nintendo dropped the ball on the 35th Zelda anniversary this year. They fucking didn't do shit. They dropped the ball on the 35th fucking Mario, okay? What they did was bullshit, basically, okay? Like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, dog. I swear to God. Silent as a fucking ghost until I want to stream, and now you want to fuss at me. I'm gonna murder you, dog. I have dominion over you. I can do it. I can legally do it. No one will stop me, okay? No one will say a fucking thing. Take my 45 and do it right now, dog, if you don't fucking stop pissing me off. Anyways, I'm all talk. Anyways, Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary. Nintendo did fucking bullshit for Mario's 35th. Donkey Kong's 40th. Nintendo did bullshit for Mario's 35th. Okay, they gave you a subpar fucking collection that was overpriced. It's nice to have, but it was over fucking priced. They gave you a little Game & Watch with Mario 1 on it and like Ball, the Game & Watch Ball game on it. Oh, thanks. Cool. Another way to play Super Mario 1. Wow. We were in real need of that. Thanks, Nintendo. And of course, you didn't make enough of them anyways for all the fucking sweaty nerds that wanted them. So, if you're trying to get one, you got to pay deal scalpers, whatever. And then, they give like a Mario game online, Mario 30. I never played it, but then they just took it away randomly. Fuck you. That's nice, Nintendo. Thanks. Cool. Thanks, Nintendo. Very cool. Did shit all for Zeldas. I don't even think they fucking acknowledged it. This year is Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary. Now, Nintendo needs to do something for it, in my humble opinion. Now, here are some things I would like to see them do that would be appropriate, that they will almost certainly not do because they are good, reasonable ideas, and Nintendo is batshit crazy as a company. So, number one, this is the easy one. This is the fucking easy one, okay? Put out a collection. And not 3 fucking games and no extras and way too much money. If you're not gonna remaster them, which is fine. I actually kind of like sometimes just as close to the original as possible in these collections. But that's when the collection has a lot of shit on it. So here's what you do for a collection. Donkey Kong Jr., and Donkey Kong 3. How many fucking times has Donkey Kong 3 been re-released? Almost none. I was a grown-ass man into like I think it was like 2012 before I even knew that game existed. And I grew up with an NES. Then Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3 from the SNES. Again, on a collection. And let's really be a little ambitious here, Nintendo. Donkey Kong Land 1 through 3. Donkey Kong 94 from the Game Boy. And Donkey Kong 64. Put all that shit on one collection. You know what? That's fucking worth 60. Easy. Hell, that's worth 70. Before you even put any fucking extras on there. Put that out. Printing money. Printing fucking money with that. And don't tell me, I've heard people like complain like, oh, it's hard to get multiple emulators on the collection. That's fucking bullshit, okay? Like on the Wii, I had a Kirby collection that was games from the Game Boy, NES, SNES, and 64. Don't tell me it can't be fucking done, okay? All right, so that's one thing you could do. The second thing you could do, which again, this is one that you had to have already been working on. Otherwise, obviously, you're not going to start today. The collection you could probably start today and pump this out in a couple months. These are obviously things, these other things that they should be doing, they would have had to have been working on already. A new Donkey Kong 2D platform. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was fucking bitching. Returns was pretty good. Tropical Freeze outclassed it in virtually every way. It was one of those great games that was truly why I never regretted having a Wii U. And they re-released it on the Switch, as they should. Another Donkey Kong 2D platformer in that same vein. And you know what? Because it's 40th anniversary, you go fucking all out for it. Here's what you do. You have a story that has, like, literally the game starts with a cutscene of, like, King K. Rool and the big fucking walrus dude from Tropical Freeze and a fucking mask from Returns. And they're all, like, at a fucking table somewhere looking over, like, attack plans. And they're like, yeah, we're all together. We're teamed up, okay? Fucking Legion of Doom here. Fantastic shit, right? And you just kind of pepper in enemies from all the previous fucking country games. Not only that, playable characters out the ass. All right. Dixie, Diddy, Cranky. It was awesome that Cranky was in Tropical Freeze, by the way. But why stop there? Bring back fucking Kitty. I know everybody fucking hates the baby one, but whatever. Fucking bring them back. Bring back fucking Lanky and Tiny and fucking Funky and all this. All of them. Bring the fuck back all of them. You know? Let you fucking play as Wrinkly's ghost. Play as Wrinkly's ghost sometimes. Fucking all of them. The more the fucking merrier on playable characters. And you gotta balance some shit. I'm so sick of like, all characters have to be balanced and all. Like, we're fucking Thanos. Everything must be perfectly balanced. I like things being wildly unbalanced in games sometimes. I love when fighting games have a character that just fucking dominates and one that sucks balls. Okay? Like, people complain with like Tropical Freeze. Oh, well, there's no reason to have Cranky or especially Diddy over Dixie. I don't know, fucking variety. You played the game once already, but play it with other, whatever. I've never understood that everything has to be balanced. Everything has to be homogenized like that. Fuck that. So that's one possibility. Just a 2D platformer that just goes balls out, celebrating just the history of the franchise. Another possibility, again, something that would already have to be basically almost done, a 3D platformer. 64 has kind of mixed thoughts on it. A lot of the people that like the really fast-paced gameplay of the Country series kind of, ooh, and 64 is pretty slow-paced, a lot of backtracking. But, you get guys like Geek Critique that, have the attention span of a fucking retarded net. And they're like, ooh, can't go fast, gameplay not crunchy, 0 out of 10. But no, take another crack at it. Another crack at a 3D Donkey Kong. Fuck yeah, man. Do one of those things. Preferably, fuck it. All of them. You should have been doing all of them. Imagine like the fucking month that is maybe it's already come and gone, but is the 40th anniversary of Donkey Kong. It's just like, here you go. 2 new Donkey Kong games in a fucking collection. That would be awesome. That would be great. But you know what's going to happen? Fuck all is going to happen. Okay? Nintendo's going to announce some weird out of left field fucking nonsense like Mario Rabbids 2 and whatever. And we'll all just deal with that. And The rest of the industry is going to probably continue to suck. The end. That's going to be E3. That'll be E3. Like, whatever. All right. So I have to watch something enraging, apparently, because God hates me. Not that I blame him, in all fairness. Lies of the Enlightenment 6, Liberty. Is the stream still fine? Somebody says people complain about games being paid to win. Why? Because real life is paid to win already. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into Windows Capture. Fuck. I really don't want to watch this. I know this is going to suck some balls. Why y'all do this to me? At least it's only 23 minutes, because Lord knows these guys can be long-winded as fuck.
Hello, Endeavor here. What is the root word of liberalism? Liberty. The state of being free to do as one pleases. Liberty is a concept which obviously long predates the Enlightenment, but it was one of the major areas of focus of Enlightenment thinkers. What really is liberty is up for debate. It could differ depending on who you ask, but the most common understanding of liberty held in the West today was largely influenced by the Enlightenment. Though there was some variation from one thinker to another as to what actually constitutes liberty. For example, John Locke considered liberty to be the upholding of natural rights, the consent of the governed, equality under the law, and religious toleration. Generally, this definition of liberty is used to limit the authority that the state has over the individual. Jean-Jacques Rousseau took the concept of liberty further. He's famous for the phrase, "Man is born free and everywhere he is in chains." Liberty was the natural state of man, according to Rousseau, and it was civilization that took away his liberty. Having given up his natural freedom, Rousseau believed that man should be governed by the general will, since it's the only legitimate limitation to freedom. According to Rousseau, to be free is to be able to do as you please, and society becomes freer the more restrictions upon people's actions are removed. Under the modern liberal paradigm, Locke's definition is closer to the classic liberal conception of liberty, while Rousseau's definition is closer to the progressive liberal one. However, both are derived from the Enlightenment. For a coherent definition of liberty, I'll go with the one put forth by John Stuart Mill, a post-Enlightenment liberal philosopher, in his essay On Liberty, because Mill was very influential on modern liberal thought. I've already addressed the first half of Mill's essay, which was about free speech, in part 3 of this series on the marketplace of ideas.
Oh, this guy. I bet he's a lot of fun at parties. We're going to take a break from this because I gotta liven shit back up. Holy fuck. Plus, somebody commented on here that had commented earlier. So somebody didn't know the desk fairy story. So let's go into that for a minute. Because I gotta boost the fucking energy back up. Holy fuck. Ooh boy. Feel the virgin. Alright. Anyways, the desk fairy. So when I was in elementary school, this would have been 3rd, maybe 4th grade. The teacher at the time, now you remember in elementary school, you got one teacher for the day, basically. At least for me, like gym was a different class. But like that was it. The rest of the time you were in the one classroom, you had your desk. You'd have a locker, you had your desk, and the desk had a little cubby hole in it, and that's where you kept your, some notebooks and shit like that. Now, my desk was always a fucking shit mess because I was a big shock was a disorganized student. Now, this teacher instituted something called the desk fairy. What it was an older kid, like a fifth grader, at the behest of this teacher, who I have to assume is a sociopath. I have to assume that somebody who signs up for this job is a fucking sociopath. But like the real sneaky rule following kind, that kind of become a fucking politician, maybe an officer in the military or a cop. Anyways, the desk fairy would go around the classroom looking into everyone's desk. If your desk was really, really neat, maybe they'd leave like a piece of candy on your desk or something for when you come in. This would be before everybody got in for the day. And if your desk wasn't neat, they would tip your desk over and knock all your shit all over the floor. So you'd come in, on a fucking Monday, and your shit's all over the fucking floor, your paper's all over the floor. All the other kids been stepping on it because kids are fucking assholes. And this is just a thing the teacher did and they thought was cool. This is just cool. Not like reprimanded you or something. Not like, I don't know, took fucking stars off the good noodle board or some bullshit like that. No, tip the desk over, knock your shit all over the floor. Fuck you. And guess what? Every time the desk fairy came, somebody's desk is getting knocked over. All right? Like that kid didn't wake up early and come into school early to not kick somebody's desk over. Somebody's getting a fucking desk knocked over, right? Yeah. I remember actually telling that story as an adult once to some buddies of mine. My dad was around, and my dad was like, "I never heard that. Holy fuck!" Like I would have been in there bitching. That was fucked up. And see, as a kid, you don't like. Yeah, I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think it was right. But as a kid, very little seems like that. The whole fact that I got to go to school in the first place doesn't seem particularly fucking fair. So you got no real concept of what is or isn't an acceptable level of bullshit in the world. You know what I mean? But I will never forget the desk fairy as an example that a lot of public school teachers, particularly elementary school ones, are shitbags, pure fucking shitbags. Okay, just don't send your kids to public school. Period. Private school really isn't all that acceptable, especially not public school. And B, you just got to think about what kind of shithead kid signs up for that. You know what I mean? Like, I hope whoever the desk fairy was that would routinely knock, I hope right now they're dying of butt cancer. Like a big old tumor in their asshole. And they can't shit. Or maybe ball cancer would also be acceptable. If it was a chick, some titty cancer where she had to get both of them lopped off. I wish bad things upon whatever shithead kid was doing that. It's the same with the kids that wanted to be hall monitors and crossing guards and shit like that. Only the desk fairy, I think, is at a whole nother level. Just a whole new level of shitty. All right. So we took a break from, oh lordy, this fucking guy. Let's get back to him, shall we? I got to at least get a ways into this. Somebody did pay me.
Ideas. So here I'll look at the second half of the essay. Mill places the...
This guy sounds like Common Filth. His voice sounds a little like Common Filth, but like if Common Filth had been like, I don't know, like if he sucked most of his soul out, like he sounds like an AI trying to imitate Common Filth almost. Like he sounds very autistic and soulless, but his voice has just a touch of Common Filth to it. I miss Common Filth. I wonder what he's up to. I hope he's doing good. Thoughts and prayers to our good buddy Common Filth. I know he fucked off the internet. Good for him. I hope he's doing great. Wish nothing but the best for that guy. He was cool as fuck.
Liberty of the individual as the most important aspect of a free society. He argues that the individual should be as free as possible to pursue their own interests, as long as they're not doing harm to others. Mill believed that
That sounds fucking fantastic. I can't wait to hear the spurgy, autistic, black-hearted, authoritarian reason why that's unacceptable to you.
the government could only be used to punish someone if they were doing harm to someone else or neglecting their responsibility to them, but not to themselves. He argues for tolerance, claiming that the majority should make laws they'd accept if they themselves were the minority. This would avoid what he refers to as the tyranny of the majority. Mill accepts that morality exists which individuals are expected to follow, but he believes that society shouldn't get involved in it. It should only deal with the individual's relation to the public, not their private lives. Mill said the individual should be free to harm themselves through vice. He said that the promotion of vice could be prohibited, but something that's only offensive shouldn't be prohibited. Where he draws the line is...
Alright, this Mill guy sounds like a cool fucker. I assume he's long dead. Otherwise, I would buy him a beer. But he sounds... he sounds cool as fuck. I am 100% on board with this Mill guy. I don't know about you guys.
It's unclear. Mill, however, does not apply his principles of liberty to less civilized people, whom he argues can be ruled by...
You know what? That's a fucking fantastic idea, chat. Let's put this on a higher speed.
Despotism until they become civilized. This definition of liberty is generally in line with that held by Western liberal democracies today, with the exception of Mill's opinion on uncivilized people. So what is wrong with the liberal conception of liberty? First of all, am I even for liberty? Leftists, classical liberals, and libertarians have levied the accusation against me that I'm a fascist who's against liberty and freedom. And when they
gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. I bet you there's absolutely no grounds for that, Mr. Trad Catholic on the internet.
Say fascist, they mean it as a pejorative. But I reject the notion that I'm against liberty. However, I
love that little note. You know, as if fascist is a pejorative. Look, are the fascists as bad as the communists? No, not by a long shot. But they're still bad. I still don't want to be in a fascist fucking society. By the way, in many ways, fascism is the merging of business and corporations and government and all. So, when when Twitter throws you off your fucking Twitter account, Spurgy Track Catholic, that's kind of the fascism you so adore at work.
Fundamentally disagree with the liberal conception of what liberty really is. Because liberalism boils liberty down to the individual's freedom to do. That people are freer based on what they're free to do with as little limits from authority as possible.
Yes, that is what freedom is. Thank you. I mean, they just define freedom as being free to do things. Yeah. This guy's going to have, the freedom, he's going to define freedom like Loki in the first Avengers movie. Freedom from decision.
And this is my major disagreement. Liberty does not come from what you are allowed to do at any given moment. Liberty comes from order. People feel the most...
No, it does not. It fucking does not. Not at all.
Free when they have a sense of normalcy and stability. That they are accustomed to the culture and morality of the society around them and that they feel in place. No,
that's not them feeling free. That's them feeling like they're in place. That's them feeling comfortable and safe. That's not... You honestly... God, I made a joke about it, but you honestly are like a supervillain. Like, free from worry, free from decision. That's like thinking... Would you be free if you were in the Borg? It's pretty fucking orderly. It's about as orderly as you could possibly fucking imagine. You always have a purpose. There's always it's nothing but order. That's not what freedom is. And it's fitting that you would show a picture of a cow because what you're describing is essentially being livestock.
These are the conditions in which people feel that they have liberty. Thus, a free society is one that upholds the order in which people feel contented.
No, contentedness is not liberty. Order is not liberty. Comfort is not liberty. Okay? Those things aren't liberty. They're not freedom. Okay? They may be good. They may be good things, but they're not freedom. They're not. This is a stupid man. Oh, Bedglov, he studied so much history. He knows he read Loki. I know Locke. He read Locke. He read Loki. He read a little Sargon reference there. But this is the classic, you're not as smart as you think you are, okay? No. Order is not freedom. Order is not liberty, okay? It's just order.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Holy fucking shit. Tom Bombadil donated $72. Odd number, but okay. Please watch Energy, Life, Longevity, and Immortality on Justin Paul Abraham's YouTube channel. $1 a minute. It's 72 minutes. I don't think we're getting through all that. Holy fucking shit. But I do appreciate the donation. We'll talk about that. So he says, by their definition, the Borg are free. LMO. Yeah, the Borg are free. I don't know if chat said that before I thought that one up. To be honest, I wasn't watching chat. I really wasn't. You might have said that before me. This country, you want to know what I'm going to rip off Alex Jones a little bit. I was watching, Alex Jones was on Revenge of the Sith Friday, I think it was. Great show. They had him on for the whole 2 hours. No, it's Thursday, because then on Friday, Revenge of the Sith guys actually went on Alex Jones' show. Great for them, though. Honest to God, this is me sincerely saying, like, I am very happy for you guys. I'm sure that was a big deal. You were very happy. I'm sure it boosted their, the Revenge of the Sith guys put out good content. I like those guys. But Alex Jones talked about, like, the reason this country saw such, like, why in the 20th century, in the 19th century even, did we see such a boom of technology, of art and entertainment even? There's many reasons you can point to, but one of those biggest reasons is fucking America. And you know what made America so fucking awesome? And it's not something we've always kept to. It's not so. It's we've often strayed from the way, as the Mandalorian would say. But when we're on this path, it made us fucking awesome. And it is, by the way, completely antithetical to Catholicism, not to Christianity, because Catholicism fairly is Christianity, but to antithetical to Christianity. Sorry, I had to pick something up here. Move away from the mic a little bit. So, what made us fucking awesome was the freedom. And it's not the freedom that this guy defines of quote-unquote order, because that's not freedom. Did a pope tell you that, you fucking jackass? I don't know where you got that. But no, this country was founded by the types of people, not thin blue line conservatives. This country was founded by people who said, "Oh, you want to raise the tax on my tea? I'm gonna go burn down the docks." Okay, this country was founded by madmen who sat on the East Coast in relative comfort and looked to the horizon to the west and said, "I wonder what the fuck's over there." This country was founded by explorers, renegades, rebels. And it was that, in many ways, mix of order and chaos that comes, um, chaos control, as Shadow the Hedgehog might say, that comes from freedom, that allowed such innovation, such prosperity. I mean, we went from, in less than a century, considerably less than a century, um, first achieving flight to sticking a man on the moon. It's impressive shit. And yeah, this is a country that was founded by pot smoking drunks. And whoremongers. It really is. Christian men, most of them, but deeply flawed and fucking unchanged Christian men. That's what made this country awesome. Awesome. No Catholic nation could have ever done what we've done. Not in a million fucking years. No nation led by a man like this fucking virgin over here could ever do what we've done, what this nation's done. And you know what area in this country right now has the most American spirit? Fucking Florida. And that's where things are relatively prosperous. No one's being mass homos. You know, everyone's partying at the beach and the women all have their titties out. And there's a downside to it. You know, the maskless partygoers are having too much of a good time. And you know, we all know the Florida memes of a guy on fucking bath salts riding an alligator. You know, like, okay, cool. There's a bit of a wild side to it, a bit of a downside to it, one might say. But it's still all pretty fucking rad. It's still all pretty fucking amazing. The old world the old world didn't accomplish in 1,000 years what we did in a couple hundred. There's the stone cold reality. The old world, Christendom, Europe, with their kings and their popes and their bishops and their fucking castles riddling the just littering the fucking landscape, could not accomplish what the in 1,000 years what the fuck we did in a couple hundred. Because this country originally was madmen who were so concerned with not being told what to do, they're going to get on a boat for months, probably die, get to a fucking new land where you gotta start a fucking Minecraft game and go punch a tree to make some wood to make a fucking house. And they're probably gonna die. And then when the East Coast got a little too fucking calm and a little too fucking orderly, a bunch of us said, fuck that. Let's go out to the West and probably die. But at least no one can tell us what the fuck to do. Uh, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And I hope one day we regain that spirit. And you know what? I hope we take that spirit and we look to the stars and we go find other planets that we could go land on and punch a tree like in Minecraft and build a house and probably die. just just so that other people can't tell us what to do. Minecraft in real life. This country is Minecraft in real life. Indians come up to your house and explode if you don't build it fast enough. Oh man. Alright, let's keep going with this.
There's many problems that stem from the liberal definition of liberty. First of all, liberalism breaks liberty down to the individual, that the individual is free if he's able to pursue his own interests without harming others. But in truth, liberty is collective, because in order for an individual to feel in place and content in wider society, he needs a
In place and content is not liberty, you fucking cuck. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, champ. All these units of order that you so fucking love, the family, the nation, that's all cute. And there are important things. But you know what a nation is when you get right down to it? It's a fucking line somebody drew in the dirt. That's all it is. Now, I'm not saying that line isn't important, isn't necessary, doesn't serve a purpose. Sure. But that's all it is. And one day it's going to be gone. But you, although you certainly don't seem like it, my autistic friend, you are an individual with a soul. I am an individual with a soul. I'm sure you disagree, my spurgy friend, but I happen to think this fat retarded dog over here who's being obnoxious and annoying me has a soul. Now, if I'm correct in that, then that means that that dog, if indeed he has a soul, and if you don't believe in doggy heaven, you can take your erroneous theology elsewhere, in 1 trillion years from now, will still exist. Whereas all those lines we drew in the dirt will have blown away. You are an individual. You were born an individual. And yes, we have this wonderful thing where we can be collective, but you're still an individual. When you die, you will stand before your maker as an individual. Collectives are made up of individuals. And in theory, they should be individuals working to accomplish together what they could not apart. Because that serves the purpose of all of those individuals. But yes, you are an individual. You were born alone and you will die alone. Make no mistake of that. You will not stand before God as part of a church, as part of a nation, as part of the fucking Rotary Club, or the Magic the Gathering Club that you're probably in, or whatever. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna stand before your maker as you, an individual.
group of people that he feels he is part of and who share his sense of normalcy. The collective of people have liberty if they're able to live in accordance to their own customs. Liberty, according to John Stuart Mill, is universal, that if a society holds liberal values, all within it have liberty. But this isn't the case in the real world, because different people will feel a differing degree of liberty in any given society depending on the extent to which they feel at home in said society. This is why the more homogenous a
Liberty isn't about feeling at home. It's not about being... Why do you think that? Where did you get that idea that liberty was about being comfortable? It's almost the exact fucking opposite. Where did you get that idea?
Country is culturally, religiously, and ethnically, the more free it will feel for its inhabitants. For example, a Polish person will feel most at liberty living with other Poles who uphold the same norms as him. That same Polish person wouldn't feel the same in Algeria, regardless of whether or not Algeria had a liberal constitution. Because the sense of normalcy really comes from fitting in with the people around you. Homogeneity makes it easier for a polity to uphold the cultural values of it.
None of this is liberty. Normalcy and upholding the cultural values and feeling comfortable are not fucking liberty. Why do you think that? What in God's name put that retarded idea in your head?
Citizens. But multiculturalism causes problems to arise because one policy will make one group feel more at liberty and another group at less. John Stuart Mill warns of the tyranny of the majority and calls for tolerance. But is that really what people want? I tend to think people don't want to be tolerant, and given the choice, they prefer their own group's norms to have as much influence as possible.
I will grant you that. Most people want liberty for themselves and not other people. Most people think that freedom, that liberty should mean free to do all the stuff I want to do and fuck you. Yes, most people do think that. I will grant you that. But that's wrong. And it doesn't things are wrong regardless of how many people believe in it. Something is either right or wrong regardless of how many fucking people believe it.
So tolerance doesn't create liberty. In an attempt to satisfy everyone, by forcing everyone to live together and to be tolerant of each other, it creates a situation that satisfies no one.
Okay, but forcing everyone to do something is also not liberty. I will grant you that. I am a firm believer in freedom of association. Yeah, absolutely.
It's even worse as multiculturalism is actually practiced in the Western world today, where Europeans have to be tolerant towards everyone else, but they don't have to be tolerant towards us.
Yes, that is okay. You're correct there.
Instead, liberty can be best achieved by allowing for self-determination so people can live under the customs and in the community they please.
I'll grant you that, for sure. But self-determination also means, buddy, which you would probably disagree with, that here in my own little fucking house, this is my house, I'm the king of it, I could smoke weed and do a fat line of coke off of a redhead's voluptuous ass if I'm, I went and bought coke and weed, and quite possibly the redhead, her services for the evening, I'm not talking about slavery, then I can do that, right? And you don't get to say anything. Oh, but no, that's not okay.
Mill says that the wider society should not concern itself with issues of morality, and simply offensive behavior should not be punished. But in order for a strong social order in which people feel comfortable to survive, standards must be enforced.
Again, why do you think comfort is liberty? Like, I'm really at a loss. Why do you think that? What put that idea in your head?
Devin Stack of Blackpill did a great stream on his channel about imposing cost. On his stream, he discussed a photo taken from the 1970s of a man walking on a beach wearing a t-shirt that read "fuck off" on it. Devin Stack said that as soon as we were willing to accept someone wearing that t-shirt in public, we were lost as a society. He said that one guy's
Wow, Devin Stack sounds like a retard.
Individual liberty to wear that t-shirt imposed a cost on all the people around him. Parents would
It all came crumbling down because of that. Soon they'll be dancing. You understand fuck off is kind of... Let me put it this straight to you, champ. I know you ever read the Declaration of Independence. But that was a particularly fancy way of telling the king to fuck off. This country was founded on fuck you. Okay, the John Goodman speech is so brilliant, in The Gambler. The United States of America was founded on fuck you. Oh, you're a king? You got the greatest navy the world's ever seen? Fuck you, blow me.
would have to explain what the t-shirt meant to their children, or just regular adults would have their walk on the beach disrupted. He then pointed out that
Oh no. Fuck this guy.
If someone had worn that same t-shirt in the 1940s, they would have been punished. He could have been fined by the police or just pulled off by an old woman. And if he was one of these libertarian types who sneers at any standards whatsoever and he gave the old woman lip, a man would step in and he'd have some real trouble on his hands. It could end in him getting socked in the face. The cost would have been imposed on him for wearing that shirt.
We're moving on. I'm sorry, I gotta tap out. I gotta fucking tap out on this one. I mean, you got me to rant. Yeah, I get it. You know, no, cool. We're gonna tap out on this. We're gonna move on. Exactly, chat. Oh no, free expression. Somebody says there's having expressions, there's banning everything you don't like in the name of order. Exactly. You know what? When this guy gets his spurgy fucking ass banned off Twitter and YouTube, he can't complain because they're just imposing order on him. Oh God, what did Tom Bombadil want? Energy, life, longevity, and immortality. Justin Paul Abraham. Energy, life. See, I can't copy and paste on here. Whatever. Energy, life, longevity, and immortality. Good God. Okay. Speaking of people who need to get punched in the face. So he said he's a Canadian. That's all fundamentally alien to him. Yeah, I guess the Canadians. Oh, that mess of a country. All right, so we have energy, life, longevity, and immortality by Justin Paul Abraham. This is like the opposite. Okay, so we just had some right wing spurgery, and it looks like we're about to balance that with some left wing spurgery. It's like, you know, like imagine someone came by and like flicked you right in your like left testicle, and then it's like, you know, to balance it, they go and do the other one. That's what tonight is.
The global rising is here, and we're going to need to know how to.
Okay, this one's probably not going to be as upsetting to me because it's just going to be bonkers hippie bullshit, which is, I will probably have a better shot at getting through this one, even though it's considerably longer. But we're definitely going to want to go up speed a little bit. We try 1.5. That might be too much.
Live in the energy of the Holy Spirit more than any other.
Yeah, that's too fast. Okay. Cool. 1.25.
Generation, because things are not going to slow down. We're in the era of forced change, life, longevity, and immortality. This is why I've got DNA behind me. It's awesome. So we're going to talk about DNA a little bit, frequency, energy, and life. So I'm just going to pray now. Father, we just step into the breath. So just take a deep breath. I know it's early in the morning for most of you. We just received that Ruach HaKodesh in the breath, the hay. And I know we're all busy, but in this moment, we're going to engage. We're just going to engage life. There is regeneration in the present. There is life in the present moment. Right now, there is limitless life. Right now, in Him, in the breath.
I'm feeling it,
breathe.
I'm feeling my chakras cleansing.
And we return to the Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, who's always in the breath. The breath is always an anchor. It's always.
This is not as upsetting to me. I don't know if Tom Bombadil thought he was going to like deeply upset me. This is just dumb hippie shit. I really don't mind this as much as like the fucking. This really doesn't upset me as much as the authoritarian right bullshit does. It really doesn't. Like this, I mean, it's probably stupid and laughable, but I don't feel like if this guy was in power, he would immediately line me up against the wall. Okay, he might not. I might not be able to buy beef and chicken at the store anymore. I would probably all starve to death because he's that stupid. But I don't feel like this person means to cause harm. I don't feel like he thinks he should be able to punch me in the face because he doesn't like my shirt.
An access point. We were designed to be energized by the breath. Jesus? The Lord breathed.
Duke of Tumwater donates another $1. Thank you very much for that. Endeavor is basically a right-wing SJW, believes that your rights end where his feelings and comfort begins. I mean, well, look, there's a reason for so long I've called the SJWs, left-wing moral majority types. I'm old enough to remember the religious right when they were still a formidable force in American politics. And yes, they were firm believers that your rights ended where their sensibilities began. And that's the left-wing SJW shit is essentially that from the opposite direction. And it's kind of funny because that's what we're getting now. So we're going to get the Endeavors of the world getting that same bullshit from the other side and never understanding the irony, never being self-aware enough to grasp the irony of it. But thank you very much for the donation. By the way, there's a few other sound clips I've wanted to use for a while for the donations, but I just there's some other good ones, you know what I mean? But just none of them really top John Tron's Have You Heard of Jesus? So I kind of feel like that's the one we're gonna just stick with. Okay, we gotta get through
this. See, those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. And that word wait doesn't mean wait. Some translations say trust. It doesn't even mean trust. It's kavah, and it means entangle. Those who entangle in the energy of the Lord and in the frequency of the Lord will renew their strength. So we are people who entangle. We come into oneness.
Okay. That may indeed be true. I'm just going to let you know, though, sir. I'm probably not going to take your interpretations of the Bible very seriously.
And the way you do that is returning to this perfect moment. Nancy calls it the bubble up. She gets the bubble up. Out of your belly will flow rivers of what?
What does
living.
Your boyfriend Tyrone call it, though?
Not water, living water.
All right.
So inside of you is immortality.
Is it?
It's already in you. What we have to learn is to let the inside flood out. To let the inside flood out of our bodies.
Does this guy think he's going to live forever? It's like that old joke. It's like, I plan on living forever. Do you now? It's like, yep, so far so good.
So think about this. Peter said, you have been seeded with the immortal life by the word of God. So inside of you, inside of me, is the kingdom of heaven, and inside of us is life and immortality.
Okay.
So mystics are people that have learned to live from the inside out. And many of the mystics could live without sleep. There was one saint.
Okay, how many of them are 500 years old, though? Because I'm not sure, unless you can point to one of them that's, none of them have found the Lazarus pit, okay? None of them are, they all lived to be probably 80 and died, all right? If that.
They didn't sleep for the last 8 years of her life. Others would sleep like Catherine of Siena. She would sleep an hour or two every 2 days. And many of the saints had expanded lifespans, or they were able to live without food, like Jesus, who said, I have food to eat you know not of. So we are a generation that want it on earth as it is in heaven. Now let me ask you, what is heaven full of? It's full of life. Everyone who goes to heaven says the trees are alive, they're singing, the grass, the oceans, whatever, the sea of crystal. It is all alive. And we've been praying for 2,000 years.
Has there been a lot of people that went to heaven? And I mean, I guess a lot of people have gone to heaven, but not a lot of people sending letters back. I don't know. I don't know where you've apparently interviewed a lot of people who are in heaven. I'm not sure how you pulled that off. So he says, what is this schizo stuff you found? I didn't find it, okay? Somebody donated money for me to watch this, all right? It's fine. I mean, I don't have a lot of commentary. This isn't as upsetting It's kind of funny, but it's not upsetting like the last one. It's not. It's not emotionally painful to watch. It's just goofy and dumb.
Let it be on earth and in this body, which is the house of glory. So we're a generation that's untethering from the message of death, and we're tethering into the message of life. I'm just going to go for it now and just stay and rest. And Shannon and Nancy, you can let me know when I need to land, because I just want to go through this. I've got some chunky stuff. I'm going to hit you with it. So I'm going to just speak a little faster now. Strap yourselves in, open your mouth, let the Lord fill it.
Oh, no.
We're going to talk about expanding your life
I need an
and the
adult.
next phase of human evolution. Okay, so it's a challenging word. So I'm going to give you permission to think differently this morning while you're drinking your coffee. I know you're just waking up probably. I give you permission to think differently. This isn't the age of gurus. You're powerful. I'm powerful. We're all trying to outwork it the best we can. Okay.
All right.
So you have permission to think, but we're going into a word that you can't get from engaging the earth. Paul said it's a mysterion. He said, I tell you a secret, not all of you will die. That word secret is mysterion. And mysterion is the word that's used in scripture for things that you have to get from up there. In other words, they're not here, they're there. One of the reasons I think your community is so full of life is because you are ascension people. You go up. When you go up, you untether from the record of death. You untether from this realm, like Enoch and Elijah, and life is there. Okay, so you may have more questions by the end of this talk than when I started. My job is never to answer your questions. I'm not here for that. Although we got Q&A at the end. My role is to provoke your consciousness to expand. Now, the thing is, when you expand your consciousness, you'll have new questions. I'll give you an example. We know there's a Holy Spirit, and then one day you're in the heavens, you see the 7 spirits. So you're in the heavens, and now you've got a new question. I thought there was one Holy Spirit, now I'm seeing 7. How does that fit? Who is Holy Spirit? Who is wisdom? See, the more you engage, the more you increase. Let me put it another way. What you know, revelation is what you know. Mystery is where you grow. Okay. So if we're going to grow, it means we need new questions. And the questions are changing. So the questions in the Pentecostal movement were, how can I speak in tongues and prophesy? You know, the question in the Voice of Healing movement was, how can we heal the sick? Well, the question in our generation is, how do we become life-giving, immortal beings of health, life, and immortality? And it's a huge question, and it's going to take a while to unpack. Now, I haven't got the full picture, but I have been taught by the Lord on this subject for 10 years now. I don't consider myself as having anything on it yet, but I'm very happy to preach on it with confidence, because it's not coming from me, it's coming from above. It's coming from the realm of the heart of Yahweh, because John 10:10 says this, I came that you might have life. Satan comes to kill, steal, destroy. So killing, stealing, and destroying your health is not God. Satan came to kill you, destroy you, and steal from you, right? Okay. Jesus said, I came that you might enjoy life and life in abundance. And the word he uses there means a life that is expansive and superfluous beyond any requirements. In other words, he came to give you an explosion of life. Now, Christians up until now haven't been about life. We've been about dying and going to heaven, and we've empowered death in the earth through our words. So we're a generation who are deciding life is a good idea. Life expansion, and transforming the earth. We're not waiting for the rapture. We are being raptured every day, and we're bringing life down. And at some point, it has to intersect in the human body. And that's what I'm going to talk about now, is your body. Your body is the temple. Okay. So this whole thing started with me 10 years ago.
My body's a temple, but it's one of those like ancient, long forgotten temples in the jungle. It's crumbling and monkey shit all over the place. But I mean, it's a temple like that.
Where the Lord said, I tell you a mystery, not all of you will die. And I was about to speak in a conference, and I was like, Lord, what do you mean? So obviously I Googled it, I looked it up, and it was the words of Paul in 1 Corinthians 15:51. I tell you a mysterion. This is a mystery. He got it from the heavens. Not all of you will die. I believe that word gave permission for someone to escape death through the whole ages. I believe, and I'm going to show you there have been, through the last 2,000 years, people have read that scripture and not died. There are immortal ones on the earth, there are ever-living ones, and there are cloud riders, and I'm going to talk about them in this session.
We're sure about this. All right, fuck yeah, man. I'm gonna live for like 8,000 years and ride around on a cloud. I like a Care Bear. Like ride on a cloud I'm gonna have a car made of a cloud, like the Care Bears. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Won't have to worry about my car payment then. Try and fucking take my cloud car away, bank. Fuck you. What are you
Have
gonna
you
do? It's a
heard of
cloud.
Jesus?
It's up in the air. How are you gonna get it? Duke of Tumwater donates $1 and says, "Do you think the spread of Catholicism in America has contributed to the country moving in a more authoritarian direction?" Absolutely. The Know Nothing Party did nothing wrong. Let me just emphatically fucking say that. Okay, Spurgs on the right want to talk about demographic changes. I'm sorry to tell you, the first big demographic change that fucked this country is when we, a country of free men, let a bunch of sniveling Catholic Europeans come enjoy our freedom while pissing on it. All right? It's like Californians moving to Texas just to fucking do the same dumb shit that fucked over California. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with that one. Anyways, we got to get back because I want to know how I get my Care Bear cloud car. All right?
So God said to me this from Psalm 92, that he will renew our strength like that of a wild ox, and we will be fresh and flourishing in old age. Look at Psalm 92 as a prophecy for today. It says, you will be like the cedars of Lebanon, planted in the courts of God. You will be fresh and flourishing and full of sap, even in old age.
Ooh,
that is a
sap.
promise for a company who are planted in the courts. In other words, they're planted in that realm. Like Nancy, they're living from that realm. That's why Nancy can live off 2 hours sleep and sometimes preach all night. I've seen her do it. I was in Texas and she invited everybody back to our hotel and she preached until 5 a.m. in the morning and she showed no signs of fatigue. How does somebody do that? To quote Nancy, it's not humanly possible, but it is new creation. And we are fully identified in the new creation.
I mean, I don't know about that. I've pulled all-nighters before doing stuff. I mean, I don't know if that's really miraculous.
Okay, so I knew something big was afoot 10 years ago when the Lord started speaking to me, 2010. He started speaking to me about the gospel of life and immortality. I knew something was happening. So soon after he said this, I was caught up into the heavens and I met Enoch. And many of you have heard this experience, but please listen to me. This wasn't a small experience. This changed my life, my personality, and my DNA. My wife will testify to it. The way I talked changed. The things I understood changed. I was taken up into the heavens in 2010, and out of this white light stood a man who was lovely, lovely blue eyes. He smiled, beautiful, curly, wavy hair. Just looked so nice. And he said, "My name is Enoch."
And did you watch him?
And to be honest, my reaction was like, I didn't even speak. I got to be honest with you.
I mean,
I didn't even speak to him during the whole encounter. I was just kind of like, as Ian Clayton says, catching flies. So I was blown away, but this is what he showed me. He gave me a wine, which I tasted. This is how real the experience was. I took this wine. He said, "This is the testimony of the glory of my life." When he gave me the wine, I drank it and it went into me and I went hot in my body, in my fingers even.
Really?
And I could taste oak. And when I tasted oak, I knew I drank Isaiah's words. They shall be oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. They will rebuild ruined cities and be repair of the breach and heal the desolation of generations. And I went into an expanded state and I heard the word architects, landscapers, designers. And I saw the Father's face turn towards the earth and scrolls were coming out of heaven, destiny scrolls, and people were catching them. People with open hearts, people with hearts after the future, people who wanted to change the world. And I knew that we are coming into a new age. Enoch called it the time of great change. We're in the age of great change. We're in an age where ideas are going to boom. Creativity is going to explode and technology will look like magic. Technology will be unbelievable. Technology is going to expand and it's going to affect our bodies. I was shown that the word generations, the desolation of generations, means genetics. The genetics, this code here that has spots and wrinkles, this code that's been damaged by epigenetics, trauma, by murder, war, disease, decay, by viruses, this will be repaired. And we're in the age where we're beginning to understand the body is priceless. The body is beautiful. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. And we've not treated our bodies well. We've not understood the body. That's okay because we're under grace. But in this age, the grace and knowledge is expanding and we're going to heal this. How God's going to do it? Maybe through technology or transfiguration or ascension, but we're in the age of life swallowing death. That's good news. I hope you guys are with me so far. So
I don't know about
Shannon and Nancy, you guys good?
Oh yes, we're amazing.
Okay.
I'm trying not to get too messed up.
Great. Okay. So we are in the age. Think about this of repairing the desolation of generations. Think about it.
I mean, I don't really know what to say to any of this. Pretty fucking bonkers. I mean, it's pretty goddamn bonkers, but I don't know what else to say to it outside of that. I, I mean, it sounds like this guy, you know, maybe just did some mushrooms or something. I don't know. Uh, I mean, I will grant you, this is not upsetting like the other one. This isn't I don't want to punch this guy in the face. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I have no ill will towards this goofy fucking weirdo. But I don't know, man. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes here. We'll go a little further, and I think we're gonna have to put a little pin in it. Maybe check back in. Check back with this guy in the 7 chaos emeralds later.
For example, I inherited a turn in my eye, and on some of my videos it turns, especially when I'm tired. My dad had that, his granddad. That's a desolation in my genetics. And the Lord's going to begin to heal genetic structures of disease. What will it mean? It will mean literally the gene will not be there. So the gene for asthma, the gene for arthritis, the genetic structure for a turn in your eye, or different diseases will literally not be there. We're moving into an age where there will be a time coming where you cannot get ill because you don't have the interface. See, it has to have an interface in your genetics and your frequency, but we're moving into the age of life-giving, and the blueprint for this is Elijah, and the blueprint for this is Enoch, and the blueprint for this is Moses, who lived to 120 and had a young body, and the blueprint for this is Caleb. It's all of these people that moved in life. And John, the beloved, who couldn't die, so they put him on the Isle of Patmos. And all these saints in history, the Maharishi of Kailash, and all these people.
Dookie Tom Water donates $1 and asks, do you think he did DMT and got in touch with the machine elves? I don't know, man. This guy's on a different level than me, though. I'm not following him.
People who tapped into something. The Desert Fathers, some of the Desert Fathers could literally turn their bodies into flames. There's one
Would they now? That's pretty fucking cool. I didn't know they could go all Human Torch on us. Now, are they like on fire like the Human Torch, or are they turning into actual fire, like they're turning into a being made of energy? I have several more questions about these Desert Fathers and their fucking Fantastic Four X-Men like superpower here. But it sounds cool. I mean, I wish I could do that. Either version of that sounds like there's a million uses for it.
A disciple coming to the Desert Father, it was probably Egypt or Yemen, one of those countries. He said to his teacher, he said, I have done everything you've taught me, Master. What is there else to learn? And the guy turned to him, went like that, and his hands became flames. And he said, then why don't you learn to become a living flame? Now, Enoch also saw this.
I don't know.
He saw people that could become living flames. In his visions in heaven, it's in the Ethiopic book of Enoch, he said, I saw people who could become flames, people who could become energy, frequency, and vibration. So as I continued this journey from 2010, I was hosting a spirit school in Cardiff, and the Lord taught me the next level of this again. He began to unpack it, and the glory came in the room, and it was thick. It was heavy, and I had a missionary called Michelle Perry in the room, an incredible woman from Iris Ministry. She used to work in Sudan and places like that. Incredible woman.
I don't have anything
Enoch,
to
so
add.
she'd come to meet me because she.
I really feel bad. This isn't.
And there was like a fusion.
This is really skirting the fucking boundaries of fair use here, because I don't know what to say to you, dude. I really don't know what to say about any of this. It's fucking wild. Some of it sounds pretty damn cool, but I don't know what to add. What can you possibly add to this?
Yes, because we both met Enoch. Same as when I met Nancy, because she's met Enoch. And when she was
met him
preaching,
too.
kneeling on the floor in the middle of the room, these clouds formed around the room, which I could see. And in it, I could see faces peering through. And I was thinking, who are these? And the Lord said, these are the cloud riders. These are those that ride on the clouds. And I started to discover there's another group of cloud of witnesses. Yeah, we've got the cloud of witnesses in heaven, but there's also those who are alive on earth who are joining the clouds, and I call them the cloud riders. Now, this comes from the book of Isaiah, where it says, who are these that ride on the clouds like doves to their windows? So they're the dove company who have windows to shift realms. And the window, as you know, is hey. It's Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. So you go into the breath and you shift. You go into hey and you shift. And they're the dove company, which is those who are walking in union with the...
Okay. What are the comments saying? I absolutely love this. To have new teeth, how awesome would that be? You lost your teeth, I guess. Sorry about that. Glad I'm not the only one who believes this is true. Okay. My car is coming back to its original state. We're resurrecting cars now? This is all pretty fucking bonkers. That's my thoughts on it.
sevenfold spirit. So I became aware that there were these people that were perpetually alive. Now, at this time, I was beginning to get to know Ian Clayton, and Ian Clayton had a friend who was 400 years old. His name I've discovered since he calls himself Christian. He lives in the Kailash mountain range, and he's very famous. He's been there for over 400 years. Sundar's son was friends with him. Ian Clayton's very good friends with him. And this man appears and moves around the earth. Now, he is one of these cloud riders. I think there are about 30 of them that came in the room. Now, check this out. This is amazing. So I was with Dr. Obanaya on one of my trips to South Africa. And I said to Dr. O from Activate, I said,
you were hitting the pipe with him, were you?
You've told me some incredible stories. You told me once you met two intercessors in Chicago that were 200 years old. And they're there to pray and intercede. I said, how many people do you feel like you've met in your lifetime that are immortal? Now, Dr. O is a radical guy. I mean, I absolutely love the guy.
I thought he had a pipe.
He turned to me and thought, he said, I probably met 30 people in my lifetime that are immortal. That really blessed me because that's how many people came in the room that day in Spirit School with Michelle Perry. I saw 30 faces. They didn't fully come out. They were like peering in the clouds. And Enoch did appear. Enoch stood in the middle next to Michelle. And after the meeting, I said, Michelle, did you see that? Did you see Enoch? She said, yeah, he was standing right next to me, wasn't he? I was saying, yes, he was standing right next to you. So, guys, I know this stuff seems crazy, but God is...
It sure does. Okay. I think we're going to have to put a pin in this for now. But I'm going to be honest with you. We're going back to this. And not just because somebody paid me, but because I want to know how to be a cloud rider, damn it. Sounds fucking awesome. Just fucking teleport places in a big cloud of smoke like fucking Nightcrawler. Just sounds cool as fuck. But that's a whole lot to take in. So I think we need to just relax. I think we need time to digest all that. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, Chad. It's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? Whew. All right. Well, if you enjoy the content I put out, you could send a donation via streamlabs.com/thebedglov with a message. And even if I'm not live, I'll see it when I am live and go ahead and read it out. You can send a donation via paypal.me/thebedglov. And I guess I'll put the Amazon wish list down below too. You know, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to say, Chad. It's pretty fucking bonkers. Is all I could think. Pretty goddamn bonkers. Not upsetting like the other guys. See, that's the thing. It's just a goofy hippie spouting nonsense. You know what I mean? He's not hurting nobody. Whew. I'm speechless. I'm just sitting here like, damn.